Welcome back everybody for another video. Dan here, and today I want to talk about RFactor2 for a moment. And I'm just going to talk for a few minutes, and basically it's all going to be pertaining to why I think that even after all these years, all these new sims that have came into play, all these new racing titles, even though the technology has gotten so much better, RFactor2 is still, at least in my eye, the king when it comes to physics and force feedback. You know, typically, generationally, as you progress and new games come out, you know, graphics get better. You know, various aspects of these games, and not just in sim racing, but any type of game, you know, generationally they get better and better and better. But it's not the case in our little niche of sim racing, and like I said, at least not in my eye, because even though there's all these new games, I mean, RFactor2 has just obliterated and still continues to kill the competition when it comes to just pure physics and pure feeling through force feedback. If you've never tried RFactor2, I know a lot of people don't care really to play it because it's not as popular as Assetto Corsa and iRacing and stuff like that, but I highly recommend you going and trying it out, because I promise you, if you race in that sim for any short amount of time and you get your force feedback set up correctly, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, you will just be astonished in how well it feels. And the reason why I'm bringing this up now is because, you know, this hit me like a ton of bricks, because as you guys know, I spent pretty much like the last 6 months not sim racing. I think it was January or so that I had my last official sim race, and really sim raced at all until I just recently put my sim back together and have spent the last week or so, you know, driving some laps, doing some races, and I've basically hopped in and out of every sim. Including RFactor, Assetto Corsa, iRacing. I've been back and forth in all of them. And the way I explain it is this: if you think about, if you drive a fast car, the first time you get in that car, it's very exciting. It feels really, really fast, and you get all that enjoyment and all those emotions because it's just so fast. But if you daily drive that car every day, eventually, even though it is fast, it starts to feel slow. So people like myself that were sim racing constantly every day, jumping back and forth between sims, for me at least, they all kind of seem to blend together, and it's kind of hard to pick and point which one's really better because there's all these aspects of the sim. But when you get out, like I said, it's been 6 months since I sim raced, and now I've jumped back in basically fresh, brand new, and I've got all those new emotions. It's like if you just sat down with a force feedback wheel and you've never done it before, all those emotions are brand new, and that's kind of the situation I'm in. And because I'm getting all those emotions like they're new, I mean, that amplifies how much better the force feedback and the physics are in RFactor2. I mean, they are just astonishing, and I had kind of forgotten that for a long time. And I'm not saying other sims are bad. I mean, iRacing has great physics, Assetto Corsa has great physics, decent force feedback. I wouldn't say it's the best. You know, all of them are pretty good. They've all come a long way, but man, the way that RFactor2 allows you to feel the roll in the tires, it allows you to feel that grip, you know, and that traction, and to the point of losing that traction, and every little bump and nick, you know, in the pavement is just amazing. And I think being away for it so long and coming back in really helped me to remember and see how well they've built the force feedback into RFactor2. And it's just crazy because the physics engine from RFactor2 actually came from a mod from RFactor1 called the Real Feel Force Feedback plugin. And we're talking dating back to 2005, 6, or 7, I believe. So that force feedback engine that drives that wheel moving in your hand is, you know, it's like really, really old now. And it still is better than every other sim available on the market. So yeah, that was just kind of fresh on my mind because I've been back sim racing lately, and man, is the force feedback good. So yeah, RFactor2 is still, after all these years, the king of force feedback and physics. I will stand behind that until something comes along that proves me wrong. And there are some aspects of RFactor2 that are not that great. The user interface looks very old, and you know, they're really working on making the game better. But when you're just strictly talking about force feedback and physics, it is the best. So thanks so much for watching this video, guys. That's all I wanted to say on that subject, and I appreciate you all watching and joining in for another video, and I will talk to you in the next one.